Tonight at 11, there is only one Los Angeles, but today we heard a tale of two cities, one told by Vice President JD Vance, the other told by LA's Mayor Karen Bass, both giving very different views on the deployment of troops by President Trump in our city. From the ongoing immigration raids and arrests of working people to the protests in the streets, their perspectives of events and their impressions of the city at the center of it all couldn't be more different. Eyewitness News reporter Tim Caputo live in downtown LA with the story and some important fact-checking. Tim.
And Mark, the VP made an awful lot of claims this afternoon, including saying that law enforcement at one point were captured and beaten by protesters. That's the first time we're hearing anything like that. He also said today that the riots were getting better. In theory, that's kind of true. It's been quiet here in downtown since Saturday's big protest. In fact, the looting that happened was almost 2 weeks ago, and it's been so quiet here in downtown that the curfew was lifted several days ago. The mayor, of course, taking offense to all of these descriptions of a city that he essentially believes is currently on fire. But the mayor even more offended over the fact that the VP claimed that the mayor and the governor were essentially ordering Angelenos to disrupt federal agents' work. As more ICE raids were carried out today, Vice President JD Vance visited Los Angeles, defending these immigration operations and blaming the pushback and protests on city and state leadership.
Is the great tragedy when a mayor and a governor encourages their citizens to harass and endanger the lives of our police officers and our law enforcement officers. It's heartbreaking to see.
Mayor Karen Bass quick to refute the vice president's claims that she's egged on violent protesters.
How dare you say that city officials encourage violence? We kept the peace.
Vance also justifying the president's decision to call the National Guard and Marines to Los Angeles amid the unrest.
Soldiers and Marines are still very much a necessary part of what's going on here because they're worried that it's going to flare back up.
Both he and the president saying Los Angeles would have burned to the ground if troops weren't called in.
We saved Los Angeles by having the military go in.
But the National Guard and Marines didn't have a role in quelling the protests, vandalism, or looting. The mayor pointed out all that was handled by LAPD, the Sheriff's Department, and CHP.
You know that the federal officials that were here protected a federal building. They were not involved in crowd control.
The mayor citing the curfew and local law enforcement as the reasons things calmed down after the first weekend.
We did the curfew. We didn't need the curfew to happen from Washington, just like we didn't need the troops.
The vice president also quipped about hoping his press conference would be crashed by a sitting senator, like what happened to the Homeland Security Secretary earlier this month, which ended with security handcuffing Senator Alex Padilla. But the VP called him a different name.
I was hoping Jose Padilla would be here to ask a question, but unfortunately, I guess he decided not to show up because there wasn't the theater.
The governor's office responding with sarcasm, writing, quote, "It was very generous of the vice president to take time out of his closed-door fundraiser to stage a photo op in front of a fire truck where he mistakenly called a Latino U.S. Senator Jose." The mayor, less snarky.
Mr. Vice President, how dare you disrespect our senator? You don't know his name, but yet you served with him before you were vice president, and you continue to serve with him today.
Governor Gavin Newsome also taking to social media saying he does not believe that Jose Padilla mishap was a mistake. He believes it's intentional. Also calling out the vice president personally, saying, if you have a lot to say about me, say it to my face in a debate. We're live tonight in downtown Los Angeles. I'm Tim Caputo, ABC 7 Eyewitness News.
A very quiet downtown Los Angeles. Tim Caputo, thank you.